What's up everyone, and welcome back to Nexus. In recent years, urban exploration has become a favorite pastime of a lot of young people who just love the adrenaline of being somewhere you're not supposed to be, in places that are usually pretty damn creepy. This video is no exception to the adrenaline or the creepiness, but some of the things you'll see on this list are pretty awesome and I'd like to find them myself one day. Watch this video to see 5 abandoned water slides you're not allowed to go on anymore. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get new content similar to this every day. Also, make sure to comment down below letting us know which was your favorite. And for this video, let's see if we can hit the golden like button, which is 1,000 likes, so make sure to drop a like down below. Number 5. The subtropical climate of Vietnam has never been somewhere for the faint of heart to visit. And of all the tragic and abandoned places this country has to offer, we think that the Ho Thu Tien Water Park, located just outside the town of Hue, is one of the most interesting, and I probably butchered those names. Not abandoned because it became a war zone in the 1970s, allegedly it was just never quite finished before the funding fell through. However, the history of the place is so cryptic, who knows what really happened? Multiple travel agencies in the US have no idea the water park is there, with only minor tourist offices in Hue itself knowing of its existence. Even then, the quest to get directions to find it is almost as hard as actually finding it once you do have the directions. And you probably need to enlist the help of the locals and people on the internet who have been there before you. By far the coolest part of the abandoned park is the giant dragon structure located right in the middle of the lake, which you can still climb all the way up and look out of its mouth. Other areas of the park are completely overrun with plant life, though some of the aquarium tanks still have water in them. It takes quite a while to walk to the water park's actual slides, and if you really wanted to, you could try to maybe slide down them, but I wouldn't advise it. There are plenty of videos on YouTube of people climbing down the slides themselves though, if you don't want to try it and get to this place yourself. Number 4. What do you get when you build an enormous water slide in rural Indiana out of heaps and heaps of concrete? Opportunistic skateboarders is what you get, and that's exactly what this next abandoned water slide attracts like moths to a flame. This water park and its elaborate slide can be found and explored in Bloomington, and are now a hotspot for graffiti artists and the like. The water slide is called the Zoom Flume, but there's no water in it anymore. You can't really slide down it normally, so the only way to kind of experience it as intended is by dragging a skateboard with you and sitting on it, which plenty of people do. Nowadays, the water slide kind of looks like a bobsled run and doesn't just have an abandoned water slide. It's also got a creepy abandoned shack at the top of the water slide, maybe where there used to be vendors once upon a time. It's actually pretty hard to skate down the slide because of the leaves on it, but maybe if someone cleared it out, you'd be able to get around most of it pretty easily. I definitely want to try it at least, and some of the graffiti is actually pretty good there. As far as urban exploration goes, this has got to be one of the coolest places you can go. The park was closed down almost 40 years ago because of concerns around the price of insurance and an inability to keep it operational. But if you want to visit it, you'd better be careful because it's located on private property, so there's a chance you could wind up arrested or with a big fat ticket. Number 3. Splash Canyon in menacing Canada is incredibly spooky. It looks like a wasteland with slides sitting in empty pools and other pools filling up with grime and rainwater. It's filthy, huge, and scary, and makes me wonder if anyone is brave enough to actually go down any of these slides, most of which are completely enclosed tube slides. Who knows what kind of horrors could be lurking within the plastic there. A video of this desolate place on YouTube shows, with a bunch of incredibly eerie overhead shots, all the large facilities intended to house hundreds of guests every day. Splash Canyon has been closed since 2012, but it's pretty easy just to drive up to for anyone with a brave heart, a bunch of free time, and a car. Maybe the spookiest thing about this water park isn't just how frightening it looks, but is the equally abandoned Splash Canyon Water Park and Resort Facebook page, which has not been deleted. Looking through the old posts is kind of like prying into the diary of a recently dead person, as they post ads about all sorts of fun events like a corn roast on Labor Day weekend and karaoke. It also includes a range of photos from when the park was actually still open, in shocking contrast to the haunting images you can see nowadays. There's people having fun and eating in the cafe, playing in the pools, and hanging out with the park's typically Canadian moose mascot as part of an old festival from way back in 2011. Number 2. Still in Canada, but switching over to Ontario, is an old park that's had a lot of issues with vandalism while it was still in the construction phase. However, the construction phase of this water park has never actually finished, and it was left abandoned in 2004. The story of this unfinished park is pretty sad as well. One of the developers, Claude Lachance, never realizing his dreams to open a water park. It just proved too expensive and with way too much red tape for him to try and cut through. In the years from 2004 and 2006, the park was nearly finished and technically only on hold, because they were waiting to get a permit through to build a traffic light. Yeah, waiting for a traffic light permit is the thing that stopped this water park from ever being properly finished. The guy gave up in the end, but the Splash North Park is now a hotspot for vandals, with the owner apparently finding a sledgehammer on the property before. If you want to go to explore this place, you'd better be careful because they do not take kindly to youths hanging out. It's covered in graffiti, and once a partially built piece of steel water slide left suspended from a rope was cut, sending the slide crashing down into the large pool below and destroying parts of it. Since then, there have been offers to try and complete the project, but to this day, it remains abandoned. Number 1. This park has to get number 1 on this list just because of its name alone, and because it also boasts the highest number of actual water slides as any of the other parks on this list. It's literally called Ebenezer Floppin' Slopper's Wonderful Water Slides, which is sort of like Willy Wonka but for water parks. Nowadays, the huge 5-lane water slide is completely covered in leaves. It would be a hell of a job to clear it out to try and possibly restore it, especially since the retaining walls have been collapsing and letting masses of dirt onto the slides and pools. This park, located in Illinois, opened in the summer of 1980 and closed in 1989, but nobody actually knows why it got shut down. Was it simply failing to make a profit, or did something spookier happen? This park is definitely a wealth of conspiracy theories about why it was left to rot almost 30 years ago. It's probably the easiest to find, since it's not too out of the way of Oak Brook Terrace itself. Along with the big racer slides is also the Lazy River, which is huge and also abandoned, like the Zoom Flume. If this place was cleared of all the leaves, it could probably be converted into a pretty sweet skate park. Whether anyone will ever want to clear it out all remains to be seen, but it clearly still attracts visitors going by the amount of graffiti. That was our list of the 5 abandoned water slides you're not allowed to go on. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a video in the future, and hit the like button too so we can hit the golden like of 1,000. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace!